Well, the debate around second-hand clothes has been raging for more than 30 years since Kenya started or allowed the importation of second-hand clothes. And the debate has always been, do you control the import? Do you ban or do you allow second-hand clothes to compete with new clothes? And that has always been the debate. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. We're coming to you live from Broadcasting House. This is Base Check, and today our conversation is going to revolve around the second-hand industry, the second-hand clothes industry, their socio-development, their socio-economic impact on Kenya's long-term economic development, and of course, what the policymakers are saying about this. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We are live from Broadcasting House. At O'Brien Kimani is my Twitter handle. My guest today is the CEO of Kenya Consortium, of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya. This is Martin Gitau. He's been telling me that he is very passionate about Mitumba. He was brought up on Mitumba, and actually, he was telling me that even today, he's coming up on my show wearing Mitumba. Is that true?
Absolutely.
So tell me this, do you drink Mitumba? Do you smoke Mitumba? If it's all you smoke, do you sleep Mitumba? Do you eat Mitumba? Do you breathe Mitumba?
Mitumba is my life. It's the life of many common Kenyans who thrive and live on Mitumba. The sector supports about 2 million Kenyans who work in the sector. These are people who trade, sell Mitumba. If you go to Gikomba right now, there's a whole value chain that is supported by Mitumba. You're talking about people who we call Beba. These are the guys who load and offload bales. We have tailors in the market. These tailors are the ones who repair clothes. Sometimes you may find a bale, maybe there's a loose button. So there's a guy who will now come and stitch it up. So these are people who work within the sector, about 2 million plus who work in this sector. And this data is coming from the government. This is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics data that was done in 2020. So it's a reality. Mitumba is part of us. It's a big economic mover for Kenya, and it's here to stay.
You are a big supporter of the importation and, of course, the business of second-hand clothes. When did this love start for you?
About 5-6 years back. So I'll tell you the story.
Were you brought up on Mitush?
Yes. I grew up wearing Mitumba. That's what we used to do. My aunt used to sell Mitumba, so she used to sell that to us. So it's even years you grew up, you remember. You used to wear clothes, then you pass it down to your cousin or to your brothers. So it has been part of the Kenyan culture of donating and giving clothes for extending what we usually call it is extending end of life for textile. So that's what we have all grown up in. I'm sure almost 90% of Kenyans have gone through that process of wearing second-hand clothes or passed down clothes from generation to generation. So it's part of the Kenyan culture, it's part of the global culture of donating clothes that you do not wear anymore. And so it's part of us.
When you meet former employees of Kikomi, of Rivertex, of many other gineries, that collapsed back in the 1990s because of our proliferation of second-hand clothes, what do you tell them?
One thing that there's a very big misconception in terms of what caused the collapse of the local textile industry. It is not the proliferation of second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes came in to step into a gap that was left vacant by the collapse of that sector. Because
but the importation of second-hand clothes accelerated that process. We do realize that there was serious mismanagement of these textile companies, especially government-owned.
Yes.
But they were struggling actually to feed the market. But the importation of second-hand clothes accelerated the demise of these companies.
Just to collect you a little bit, ours was stepping into that gap. You remember growing up where you used to see your uncle wearing trousers with bunches everywhere. It's because of the cost of clothes. New clothes were more expensive and not affordable to everyone. Just the other day when second-hand clothes were banned because of COVID, we went to the local textile, EPZ, and asked them, what would be the cheapest pair of jeans that you'd make? What would that cost? And they were like, the cheapest would be about 800 Kenyan shillings. Not every Kenyan can afford 800 Kenyan shillings to buy jeans. You have a family of 5 or 6 people that you have to clothe. Not everyone can be able to afford that. So it's the cost of doing business that led to the collapse of the second-hand clothes. Also, lack of raw material. Even right now, people who are producing who are making clothes here, they don't have raw material. They're bringing them from India, Pakistan, Uganda. That's where they're getting their cotton from. So what we need to do, and the government of Kenya is very intentional in terms of growing the local textile industry. They've given subsidies for farmers who want to grow cotton, who want to be able now to get into that sector. And that is what is required, because we need to bring down the cost of production. The cost of production is not, it cannot compete with the second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes just came to fill a gap that was left vacant. What we are offering people is options. And what we've been saying is we can coexist. There's a report by KIPRA that was done. I will share with you that report. KIPRA is a government agency that does research. And they say that there is opportunity for both markets to coexist in the Kenyan economy, both the local textile and the second-hand clothes, because we serve different markets. O'Brien will not go to Gikomba to buy a shirt. You go to maybe Waikiki or another shop in town to buy a new shirt, but not everyone can be able to do that. So we serve different markets, different segments that serve the different economic parameters.
Do you have an example of an economy which, where the textile industry, where the cotton industry has thrived with the importation of second-hand clothes? Do you have a study case in the world?
No, I wouldn't say that I have one, but a lot of, even in Europe right now, there's a very big movement in terms of bringing in second-hand clothes.
They call them thrift.
Yes, thrifting. There's a very big movement that is now opening up. In the UK, you have Oxford that is opening up shops in the UK for second-hand clothes, because at the end of the day, we are caring about the environment. There's an overproduction of clothes. So it's a call for action for everyone that we need to extend end of life for textiles. People in Europe and the US, they will buy clothes in winter. After winter, they throw them away. That is a 3 months, 4 months wear. Then they throw them away. They don't want to wear them again, or because of seasons and of course lifestyle. So there's a movement that is now calling for people more responsibility in terms of you need to be aware in terms of how long are you wearing these clothes and what are you wearing exactly.
You know, I was going through the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics economic analysis for 2025, and it was talking about the fact that Kenya imported second-hand clothes worth about 180,000 metric tons in 2025, becoming the biggest importer of second-hand clothes in Africa, overtaking South Africa, which until 2021 was the biggest, and of course overtaking Nigeria. And I was seated here and I'm asking myself, what if all these clothes were were made in Kenya? What would be the economic impact of this?
It would be great. It would be an amazing movement for economy to be able to produce that kind of tonnage of clothes in Kenya. But as I said, it's something that is in progress. And we as Mitumba Association, we actually support the growth of the local production of textiles, because we would want our people to be able to wear their own clothes produced here. But as of the moment, as I said, we do not have a local textile industry. Even the cotton that they're using here, we have to get it from Pakistan and India. We have to get it from Uganda.
Cotton is very small.
Yes. So that's something that we need to look into as a country. As I say, the government is intentional in terms of developing local farmers in growing cotton and what is needed for us to grow the local textile industry. But yes, it's about 189 metric tons, but note that some of those, most of that, actually, because Kenya is positioned because of the port. We are supplying to Uganda and other regional countries that are around here. So what comes in is split between Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. Yeah.
So what people don't actually realize is that it's not just Africa that imports second-hand clothes, second-hand shoes. They do the same in Europe. They do the same in the US.
Yeah.
They do the same in China. Yeah. And the question that I have been asking myself is, how do we ensure that we don't become a dumping site for cast-offs?
Yeah. So what we do as the traders in second-hand clothes, we work with sorting organizations. We have people who sort in Pakistan, people sorting companies in Dubai, and there are standards that have to be met. Those standards are set by KEBS in terms of what comes in. So Kenya, we're only allowed to bring in grade 1 and 2 of clothes.
How many grades are there?
There are about 6.
6 grades?
Yes, there are about 6 grades, even more, depending on the country. But
the
Kenya,
top quality is grade 1?
Top grade is grade 1, and then top 2. Or A and B, others will call it. There's A and B. So that is the only one that we're allowed to bring into Kenya. So for that, there are companies that have been pre-qualified by KEBS to be able to sort and bring in clothes that are wearable. People talk about waste, that we are dumping clothes, but there's no dumping. Go to Gikomba right now. If I open a bale, I will sell everything in that bale. So there is no waste that is going there. Yeah.
Well, if Kenya Bureau of Standards, has specifications and of course standards on what we are supposed to import, and you're talking about grade A and B, then it would be assumed that grade A and B are expensive.
They are expensive more than, of course, grade C and D, but they are manageable to majority of Kenyans. They are affordable.
How would they compare with, for example, a locally manufactured pair of jeans?
Way cheaper. I mean, it's way cheaper. Yeah.
But we also should not sit here and assume that second-hand clothes are also, all second-hand clothes are cheap.
No.
I mean, I've seen second-hand clothes suits that will cost you almost 40,000 shillings.
That's true. That's why there's a different... I'm sure everyone knows about the issue of the camera. So those camera is now the top tier in terms of the clothes. And those are the expensive ones now. That is now the top tier in terms of Mitumba. So those ones you'll find they're a little bit more expensive than the normal clothes. But the quality is, of course, they're expensive because the quality is good. This is where you find an original Nike shirt, you find an original Nike shoe. So these are there are people who are who specifically sell that kind of attire to specific kind of people.
Do you see the future of Mitumba in the era of cheap imported clothes that are coming from Turkey, that are coming from China, Pakistan, and India?
I would say this. As I said, I believe that our economy is large enough to be able to accommodate all these kind of things. I think, yes, our biggest threat right now for Kenya and for the world is the ultra-fast fashion. That's what we call ultra-fast fashion, which is coming from China and Turkey, as you're saying. But it's a matter of choices for consumers. It's choices for consumers. There are people who would prefer to go shop at LC Waikiki, Mr. Price. There are people who still prefer go to toy market and look for good second-hand clothes. So it's a choice for consumers in terms of what you want and what is on your budget. So it's about budget and needs.
Allow me to address these, using statistics. And I was, going through the report, and in the year 2024, Kenya imported new clothes worth about 95,000 metric tons.
Yeah.
In the same year, we did 180,000 second-hand, metric tons worth of second-hand goods. In 2020, we imported about 65,000 metric tons of new clothes. And the trend is that the importation of new clothes is growing faster at a rate of 15%, while the rate of imported second-hand clothes is growing at a rate of 10%, which means that if the trend persists, you're likely to see new clothes surpassing, the importation of second-hand clothes. Does this give you sleepless nights as the CEO of Mitumba Consortium of Kenya?
Not really. If you compare that, we're doing double of what the new clothes are bringing in. And as I said, it's a matter of customer choice. And also, it shows that, of course, that also the economy is growing, that people are preferring to buy new clothes. And there's a report that we did on coexistence of second-hand clothes, and it shows you the metric in terms of there are people who will buy new clothes and second-hand clothes, depending on seasons, depending, of course, on occasions. Most people, they will buy clothes on events, especially our ladies. If they're going for a wedding, they will buy a new dress because of that. They will buy, if Christmas, you're buying your children new clothes. So it's a choice that people make. People will save to buy new clothes, but when there's no money, then you go to second-hand clothes. So for us, it's giving customers choices in terms of what you want and what your budget can be able to afford. Yeah.
Help me understand this. I have heard this from, different quarters that there is an avenue that Kenya can pursue to become the sorting hub of second-hand clothes in Africa, whereby we import in large volumes, then the sorting is done here, and then it is dispatched in various countries. Do you think this is an avenue that we can pursue as a nation?
It is actually something that we have been keen on. We have met Minister of Treasury, Bandi. We spoke about it. We've been speaking with the Special Economic Zone as well to see what are the possibilities of Kenya becoming a sorting hub for the region. It is a good opportunity for us to be able now to create more employment for Kenyans, and Kenya foreign currency. So it's a big opportunity. Dubai, Pakistan now are thriving in that economy because they're the biggest sorters right now, because of course of labor. So bringing that to Kenya, there's more labor here, affordable labor, than in the UK and in Europe. Most of the sorting hubs in Europe are being closed down because it's becoming very expensive. So they're looking for opportunities where they can be able now to sort. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to become an African sorting hub for second-hand clothes. And when you say we are sorting...
Currently, who is doing that?
Most of our clothes in Kenya and the bigger region of Africa are being sorted in Pakistan and Dubai.
In Pakistan?
Yeah, Pakistan and Dubai. So they sort and send to Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, all those countries. So it's been done in Pakistan and Dubai and Oman. So those are the biggest sorting hubs right now. So we can be able to position ourselves as a sorting hub for the region. And when we say sorting is, we're bringing in clothes, so we're able now to determine what comes into the country. Because when you sort like in a special economic zone, that means that you're able now to control what goes out, what comes into the Kenyan economy, what goes out to the other regions.
What would it take us, to take a piece of the sorting business from Dubai, from Oman, and from Pakistan, and of course concentrate on the African market, bearing in mind that Africa is the biggest importer of second-hand clothes in the world?
Yeah, it will be a significant impact to us. Of course, first of all, the job creation aspect. So for us, we need to, and we have our own traders and our importers who already know exactly what our customer needs are. So it's easier for them to decide, these are the clothes that we want, these are not the clothes that we want. So it becomes easier to train our people in terms of what we are sorting, and now creating employment and the revenue that we are going to bring into the country as an African hub, sorting hub.
Do you see the government becoming purposeful and becoming more strategic in going that direction?
We would think so. We would imagine that that is something that the government would want.
Is your imagination being driven by any statistics or by any evidence.
Yes, we have been having those discussions. Even both the Ministry of Trade been trying to have that conversation with the Minister of Trade, Lee, to see how is it possible for us to have a sorting center. As I told you, we already had a meeting in the Special Economic Zone to see is it possible to have sorting center incubated within the special economic zones, and if that will be what would be requirement, and they give us the requirements of what we need to do, and what the process with that would be. So it's a conversation that is ongoing, and we're hoping that by the end of the year we'll be able to lock down and say that yes, we are able to have this sorting center. We met the president in February. He called us at State House as a
consortium.
Yes, as a Mitumba consortium. So, and one of the things that we told him is we would want to have a sorting hub. Kenya to become a sorting hub in Africa. So those are one of the issues that we raised with the president, and it's a conversation that now he has extended now to the different directorates and the ministries for us now to have that conversation.
You see, almost 98% of all imported second-hand clothes in Kenya, they come through the port of Mombasa. Just adjacent to the port of Mombasa, you have the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone. Is that a suitable location for Kenya to set up its sorting hub there?
Absolutely. And that will be the best positioning for us to have the sorting center in Mombasa. It's convenient, logistically it also works for us, but there has been delay, of course, in Dongo Kundu because of issues of land and compensations. So it's when we spoke to the Special Economic Zone, we started this conversation with them almost 4 years ago of us getting a space there. So it's the delay has been majorly because of the delay in payments and compensation of landowners. So it's something that we would really want to take up.
When you had a conversation with the president, what was you asking as a consortium, and how did the president respond?
Our biggest ask, first of all, was in terms of taxes. We pay almost about 35% of duty on second-hand clothes. New clothes pay 20%. Then
is it 20 or 25?
25%,
yeah. Then you do 30.
Yeah, as we do 35.
35.
It's 35. So, and we don't have an issue with that. So our biggest ask was, can we have a consolidated way of collecting taxes? I mean, our people, they're not, most of them are school dropouts. They're not well versed in terms of accounting. They don't have accountants in their companies. These are individuals. So we asked can we get one place where we can just pay all the taxes at the point of entry? That is when we met the Minister of Finance, Badi, and he agreed to that. And the proposal came in the finance bill where we were to pay, there was an assumed profit of 5% of the total value of clothes that you have brought in. So that 5% is what was to be taxed, the 30% duty. So which was coming to about 1.5% of the total value. But Parliament did not pass it. It was dropped because there was a misunderstanding in terms of what was really needed. But it's something that we're having a conversation with Treasury to see if we can be brought in back again in September, October, as an amendment to the tax bill.
We've seen countries that have banned totally the importation of second-hand clothes here in Africa, and I will start with Burkina Faso, Rwanda, I think Sierra Leone, if I'm not wrong. Paint for us a picture where if one day the government wakes up and say no importation of second-hand clothes, what would happen?
Well, I'll give you like Rwanda and Ethiopia, for example, and Uganda right now. There's what you open up yourself to smuggling, because that is now what is happening in Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Uganda. There's a lot of smuggling of second-hand clothes.
From Kenya?
Yes, from Kenya and other places. So people are smuggling in second-hand clothes into those countries. So what happens is the government loses revenue, but the trade still continues. I was in Uganda 2 weeks ago, and I can tell you that it's they revoked all licenses for importers, and then gave a few licenses to a few people. So the few people now are holding the market as a hostage, but they're bringing in their clothes in big numbers, but only a few traders who are benefiting. So what you do is you open up yourself to such kind of a trade, where it's not an open trade anymore. It's people who are smuggling in clothes. And then the government loses taxes, the government is losing control of the trade, and people are just trading everywhere and anywhere. Yeah. So that would be the risk. Yeah.
Very well. I mean, in case you're joining us, we're coming to you live from Broadcasting House with the time coming to 11:29. We're having a good conversation here with Martin Gitau. He's the CEO of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, and he's pitching a case on why Mitumba is the way to go to drive the fashion industry in Kenya. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We are taking our first break. We are coming back with more conversations. Stay right here. You know, can a fashion industry thrive in any country with the importation of second-hand clothing? And can the cotton as well as textile industry also thrive when a country is importing second-hand clothes? That is the quality of conversation that we are having here with Martin Gitau. He is the CEO of the Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya. He's here with us in studio, and he's pitching a case why Mitumba is the way to go. I would want to hear from you as well. Do you believe in that? Do you agree with him? At O'Brien Kimani is my Twitter handle. At KBC Channel 1 is also our X handle. I'm still stuck in the past, you know, talking about Twitter. But you have to forgive me. Let's get into this conversation, Gitau. You are talking about 2 million people, you know, employed in this business.
Yes.
Is that the best that we can do?
It is. I mean, it is an employment factor. So it shows the value in terms of how big the trade is, and this is data that was gathered by the government in 2020. So by now, that number has grown significantly, plus almost to 3 million right now of people who are working in that sector. And these are people who are directly, every day they report to Gikomba, Toy Market, and the markets around Kenya in the second-hand clothes sector. So it's a big number. It's the local textile industry. As per the last data, I think the employment was about 200,000, 250,000. So you can see the significant impact of that. But would want those two sectors to grow together and support each other. Yes.
You know, when you look at the amount of money that, as a nation, we spend in importing, you know, second-hand clothes, you're looking at 38.5 billion Kenya shillings in 2025. This is the amount of money that went out to import. What is the economic value of spending all this money to import all these goods?
Well, we are paying, the sector alone is paying about 17 billion in terms of revenue, duty to the Kenyan government, taxes. Pay about 16-17 billion annually to the exchequer. So that is money that is going directly to the exchequer from the duty that we pay, that 5%. Now we're not even counting the county fees that we have to pay, the individual pay as you earn tax that we're paying. This is just duty. So, I mean, the effect is big and the impact is there. So that's why even the Kenyan government has actually come to reorganize and realize that this is a big economic mover and we need to engage them because they are actually contributing to the Kenyan economy. It may not be big like what EABL Safaricom is paying, but it's a significant amount of money that we're paying from an informal sector.
Going back to the sorting business debate that we were having here, and I know Ghana is also you know, very dedicated and committed together with Nigeria when it comes to establishing the African sorting hubs, in Accra and in Lagos. What do we need to do to accelerate our quest to become Africa's sorting hub for second-hand clothes? Because, I mean, realistically speaking, that is the only way we can earn forex revenue out of this business.
Yeah, I think what we need is more of reset our mind, reset of how we think, how we look at second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes have always been looked at as, I remember one of the leaders saying that these are dead people's clothes. So, which is not true, it's a lie. I will not say who, but you remember that conversation.
Well, I know, it was a president in one of his
yes,
countries.
And it went very bad. So it's a change of mindset in terms of what to look at second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes, it's as I said in the beginning, is what you pass down to your brothers, to your cousins. It's because I don't need to wear this coat anymore. It's become bigger or it's become smaller. So I pass it down to someone else who can be able to use it. And that is the mindset of second-hand clothes. So what we need to do is change that mindset. That is not a poor people's clothes. It's an economy by itself. So once you do that change of mindset, then now we're able now to have that conversation and tell the government that, look, we can do a sorting hub here. Let Kenya become an African sorting hub. We can do sorting hub. What is being done in Dubai, we can do it here. We can do it better, you see, because we understand the needs of what our people wants to wear. So we can bring it here and this becomes an Africa sorting hub. And now we can supply it across Africa.
When was the last time you went into a shop and bought a new shirt, a new pair of shoes, a new pair of jeans?
Not long ago, I think about a month ago or so.
New?
Yeah. Yes.
So for you, it's a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. And it's according to our research, what we have done, the ones we have done, it's common amongst many people, especially middle class, Nairobi and Kenyan people. It's a mix of both. Sometimes you'll buy a new clothes. The other time you find yourself shopping in Think Twice or one of these shops or in Gikomba looking for a shirt or a shoe or something that you need that works for you. 2 weeks ago I was in a shop and I bought a few shirts, second-hand clothes. So it's a mix of both, I would say that. And it's majority of Kenyans is that. But there are people who now who consume 100% second-hand clothes. Last year I was in a place in Soweto, in a family of...
Soweto in South Africa?
No, Soweto here, in Nairobi. So there's a lady, she has 5 children, lives in a 1-bedroom house, all the 5 children. And this lady was telling us, I have to make a choice in terms of what do I buy? Who do I buy for? So when you see people selling clothes at 50 shillings, there's a market for it. There are people who will actually buy that shirt for 50 shillings because that is all they can afford. They cannot afford to walk into a new shop and buy clothes. Whether it's Christmas, whether it's a child's birthday, they cannot. So second-hand clothes becomes their primary shopping for them and the family.
In 2016, I mean, the East African community was mulling over a proposal to ban the importation of second-hand clothes, and we saw the US coming in strongly and saying if the EAC region, goes ahead with that proposal, it was going to impose heavy tariffs on exports from Kenya, from the EAC to USA, and about 6 countries chickened out apart from Rwanda. I want to hear from you. I don't know whether you have studied the Rwandan, model. How is their textile industry today?
So that was I think it was in 2009 when EAC passed that regulation, the policy of phasing out second-hand clothes within a couple of years. But as you said, most countries do not go through with it because, of course, the analysis from the different countries indicated that they are not able to sustain the needs of the market. more because we do not have existing local textile industry that can be able to fill that gap. Well, Rwanda actually have not banned second-hand clothes. What they have done is they have imposed high taxation on second-hand clothes, so which is making it almost impossible for them for you to
same
bring
as Uganda.
Yes, same as Uganda. They just added 15% environmental levy from the previous 15, so now it's 30%. So that's what the countries have done. But as I said earlier in the show, that opens up now to the issue of smuggling. A lot of illegal trade of second-hand clothes coming in by not going through the borders the right ways. So there's a lot of smuggling going in. So that's the effect of that kind of a ban. And yes, US is very strict on that because of the AGOA. Now Uganda were deregistered from AGOA, Rwanda as well. They cannot now be able to trade with the US through the AGOA agreement because of that, because that was one of the preconditions of being part of the AGOA agreement of open trade and free trade.
Let's talk about, formalizing the informal sector. And we know that, the Mitumba business is one of the biggest contributors to Kenya's informal business environment. But we are seeing, some emergence of new businesses, highly formal. And I'll give an example of Think Twice, where you were telling me now they have about 60 branches in the country. Do you see an opportunity of formalizing the informal sale of second-hand clothes in Kenya?
Yes, we do. I mean, we have seen about five shops that have opened up that have now formalized in terms of the sale of second-hand clothes. Think Twice being one of them. There's a few others that have done that, where you get into a shopping mall and you buy clothes that are hung in a shelf, like you do in Waikiki or Mr. Price. So it's something that is now growing and coming up, rather than the traditional way where you used to go to Kikomba, you're shifting through clothes that have been laid on the floor. So this is now more formal, more neat. So it gives you more time to be able to choose what you want. It gives you an opportunity to look at what you want to buy. So it's something that is coming up and it's being formalized. And it's something that I think in a few years, that will be the official trade that will be going on. Like now they're doing in the UK or in other countries in the US.
And I've also seen another concept, and probably I don't know whether this is something that there's a consortium you are exploring, whereby you go to these big malls, you go to these big supermarket chains, whereby they have a section for thrift shoes, for thrift clothes. For example, you go to Carrefour, to Tuskys, to Uchumi, to all the other supermarkets, and they have a section whereby it is a section dedicated for selling second-hand clothes, second-hand goods. Is this something that, as a country, we can try?
It is. It is something that we need to actually seriously consider it, because what you're saying is, at the end of the day, we just don't want to be where we are just dumping things. If something can be extended, if something can be reused, why not? I mean, we have been very big on electronics, recycling electronics. So clothes and other things can be a factor as well. I mean, you can, everywhere you go in Kenya, you'll see ex-UK products being sold. We have shops all over Kenya that are selling ex-UK products, ex-US products. So it's a process of we are just managing the environment. We want a safer environment. By doing that, is you extending the life of goods by extra years. Yeah, and that's something that we need to be encouraged to do. Right now, we're talking about issues of EPR, extended producer responsibility. 2 years ago, NEMA gazetted the NEMA regulation, the EPR regulations. So we have a responsibility as producers, because even us as second-hand clothes, we're being categorized as producers, to protect the environment by paying what we are calling an environmental fee or levy, so that we can be able now to recycle and reuse whatever we introduce into the market.
And I know the National Treasury is working with the Ministry of Environment to see how the environmental levy can be introduced. I know it brought a lot of controversy. As a consortium, what is your position on that?
We are okay with that. Actually, it has already been introduced. They've done it in phases. NEMA is doing it in phases with the various products, but it has already been introduced. They gazetted a fee of $1 per item introduced to the market. So if you're bringing in this water, like the water you're holding, so you pay a fee of $1 for that as an environmental levy. So it has already been done. What we are doing as a consortium is we have formed what we call a producer responsibility organization. So the PRO will be responsible now for generating that income and also now the recovery of those textiles. So we are talking about setting up collection points at homes, setting up collection points in the markets, where if your shirt is torn, you throw it in that bin, then we can be able to now recover. If we can be able to recover the fiber in it, if we can be able now to reuse it or recycle it, we can work with people who do what we call upcycling, who can make fashion out of it. So we extend to the very last end of that garment.
Is this something that you're planning to roll out anytime soon?
Yes. We are. So as we speak now, we're in the process of registering the PRO, what we call the Producer Responsibility Organization. So that should be done by within the next 1 week or 2 weeks. Then we'll have a sit down with NEMA, and then now we can come up with a work plan and agree on how do we move forward with that.
How do you anticipate it to work? I mean, like, who will be in charge of the infrastructure, the collection, and the sorting and all that? So
the PRO, how it works is, we as producers, we are the owners of the organization. So there is a levy that NEMA will collect, that is the 150 Kenya shillings, which is about $1. So that money now will be redistributed to the various PROs to be able now to set up recycling centers. So we can set up a recycling plant and say that we're recovering fiber from the clothes that are being collected. Those that cannot be recovered, then we will find a way of terms of how do we dispose of this in a very environmental friendly way. Countries like in Oman, in Dubai, they've worked with cement companies who now will used textiles as raw products for power generation. So those are the options that we have and we can be able to work with.
And I know this concept, has been, they have piloted this in France and it has worked very well. But the question that I have, that these industries are dealing with is, so how do you deal with dumping of these, of the last product? And this requires, huge and massive landfills. And the question is, so who is going to construct these landfills? Is it the county government? Is it NEMA? Is it the PROs?
So first of all, we need now to even start doing capacity building for even our own people, the citizens. We need to tell them, don't dump your used clothes in the bin where you're throwing your food stuff and everything. So what you do is now, when you set up the collection points in the different estates, so you can throw your clothes there. Then now the PROs, which is now, we have one, I'm sure Kenya Association of Manufacturers is setting up one as well, as we speak, and I know that. KEPSA is also setting up one. So those now will be responsible for collection of those clothes, and now purposing them for other use, either recycling or upcycling them or downcycling them. So it's now the PROs that will be responsible for handling those used textiles.
Very well. Before we come to the end of this conversation, I want to hear from you, Gitau. Where do you see the importation of second-hand clothes, going in the next 10 years? What trends are going to shape this industry?
Well, right now, in the next 10 years, we have a very different generation of Gen Zs who take fashion in a very different way. So there is going to be a drastic change in terms of fashion and lifestyle because of the different generation. Now, there's a lot of imports coming from China. China now is bringing almost 65% of textiles into Kenya. And that is more driven because of the ultra-fast fashion that the Gen Zs they are wearing. These are people who will buy a dress for going out one night, they wear it for 2 days, then they don't want to wear it again. So that is the kind of trend that we're looking at. So for us in second-hand clothes, we are driven by customer needs. That's why we'll always revisit our wish list. There's a wish list that we usually have to work with the sorting centers. So that is the list that you have to keep on updating because of the needs of your consumers and the customers that you're serving. So it's going to change. There is also appreciation of reuse by the younger generation. They're more into reuse and recycling. But as well also, there is more appreciation of local production of locally produced clothes in Kenya by the younger generation. Yeah.
We have also seen the proliferation of shops, and especially in downtown Nairobi, in downtown Kisumu, Mombasa, shops that are selling fake designer products, be they shoes, be they clothes, be they bags. Are they posing any danger to your business?
Yes, they are, because they're giving people cheaper options. But now that is beyond us. That falls now under the curfew of Kenya Bureau of Standards. Now they're the ones who needs to come down on that and say that these are fake things, they should not be coming into Kenya. So there's nothing much we can do other than just call on the relevant authority to act on such things and prevent that illegal trade to continue.
Very well. Gitau, for how long will you continue wearing mutush?
As long as I'm here.
As long as you're walking?
Yes, as long as I'm walking.
Very good. Anything else we need to hear from you?
No, I think let's appreciate Mitumba. It's a business. It has employed our aunties, your sisters, our brothers. It has fed families for years, and it's an economy that is going to thrive. And what we are calling upon government is let's embrace the sorting hubs in Kenya. Let's bring sorting hubs in Kenya. It's going to create more economy. It's going to bring in foreign exchange. So let's embrace sorting centers. Yeah.
Very good. Martin Gitau is the CEO of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, joining us on BizCheck to help us understand the trends that are going to define the business of second-hand clothes here in Kenya and Africa. And according to him, we need to move fast to establish Kenya as the headquarters of sorting business here in Africa. I don't know what we are waiting for. This is something the government should grab and dash. Well, with the time coming to 11:54, we are coming to the end of this check for this morning. Thank you very much for your time.